what is actually being required for iBanking in India, and at the same time, what the demand from all of you have been. So, this is a slightly different topic from what we usually do. It's a little softer, trying to understand more than the SOPs, what exactly it is that really gets quality adhered to in a sort of a culture in an iBank, or in any institution for that matter. And that's the reason we're trying to do that, so that we are going to hear from someone who's actually done that over the past 20 odd years, being able to achieve a culture where quality is sort of second nature. So we're going to see how that happened and how a lot of us can actually replicate that process in our institutions. So on behalf of SiteLife and EBI, I give you a hearty welcome. Thanks a lot for joining. I understand some of you will continue to join as we go forward, but because we are at time, we are going to get this started. We will later share a recording of this as well. So if you miss the first few minutes, that's okay, you will have it. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Swapnali Gogoi, who already know. Swapnali is the quality and meal manager at SiteLife. She's been with us for many, many years now. And Swapnali, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Anurag, and a very good afternoon, everyone. I am Swapnali, and I am, as Anurag mentioned, have been associated with SiteLife almost 7 years now. And I think I know some of you from the names that I can see in the participant list. So some of you may be familiar with me, and I currently lead the SiteLife quality program along with the monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning program as well in SiteLife. And I would like to welcome you again to this second series of virtual learning, which we have launched along with EBAI in the month of March. And today is the second session, which is a topic on building a culture of quality in iBanking. So really excited to have you here today. And before we start, just wanted to again reiterate that I would request all of us who are not speaking to be on the mute. So some, general rules. And we will also, we want to make this session very engaging. So we want you to be very participative in this session. And when you have any questions for us, please, you can write to us in the chat option, and we can discuss that at the end of the session. So these are certain rules that we have set up. And with that, I would like to start this topic of today, which is the building a culture of quality in iBanking. And I would also like to introduce Catherine Wong, who is with us today. So Catherine Wong will be the co-facilitator of this session, in which she will share her journey in building a culture of quality at her iBank. So Catherine, I will share, she's already online here. Catherine is there. Catherine, can you just quickly say a hi? And we can just get started with a brief introduction of Catherine. So I do have a slide here on Catherine's introduction. Catherine, can you just move into the slide? Okay. Yes, thank you, Catherine. So that's Catherine Wong with us today, and she has very willingly agreed to be a part of this session. Catherine currently is working as the iBank manager at Hospital Authority iBank of Hong Kong. And she also is overseeing the quality program at her iBank. And Catherine joined her iBank actually as an iDonation coordinator in the year 1998. So it has been a long journey. And she's very active in terms of training, in terms of sharing her experience about her journey. And in terms of education, she has a bachelor's in social work, a master's in public health, She also has a Masters of Health Service Management and International Masters in Donation of Organ, Tissue, and Cell for Transplantation. Besides that, Catherine is the first Chinese person who actually acquired the qualification of Masters in Organ Donation. And she is very active in the organ donation training programs of, conducted in China since 2013. And she works very closely with the China organ procurement organizations, providing them trainings as and when required. So Catherine is a very active member, and her contribution is also being honored by an award, which is the Hong Kong's Hero Vocational Excellence Award in 2013. So with that, I would like to welcome Catherine today in this session.
Thank you, my dear friends, for your very great introduction. And also thanks for the invitation from the iBank Association of India and SciSlide. I am Catherine. Nice to meet all iBankers here. I'm so excited to share with you later how we build up the quality culture in our iBank. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. So with that, let's get started. I think you just have to move on slide. Just the next slide. Yeah. All right. So today's session will be, just wanted to highlight on the agenda items. As Anurag already mentioned, today we'll be focusing more on the culture of quality, on the elements of a quality culture. So what are the core pillars on which a quality culture depends upon? And the last topic, which I think most of you will be very interested, is how you can develop it at your iBank or at your institution. And we will hear and learn from our expert here, Catherine, today. So with that, let's start with the definition of quality culture. So we all know that about what quality means, and I think most of us are familiar with quality processes, systems, and SOPs in place. Most of you are familiar, and I think I have worked with many of you in developing your quality systems and processes in place. But today we're talking about something which is beyond the SOPs and processes. We're talking about a culture. So let's take a deeper dive into what we mean by quality culture. All right, so here's the definition of quality culture. I know that you all are familiar with the word culture. So by culture, we mean a set of common beliefs, values, attitudes, goals, which is shared and practiced by a people at a common place. So it's a very common language across the organization, and that is what is culture is. When we talk about quality as a culture, we are referring to those shared values. So we're not talking about SOPs and systems and policies here. So those are the basic foundations of any quality culture, but we're talking something more beyond this process and systems. We're talking about behavior, mindsets, and the aspects which can drive quality and make it as a way of life. So that's what we're talking about today. And we will take a deeper dive into how we can build a quality culture across the organization. With that, let us move to the next slide. All right, so this is interesting. So we know that across organizations, quality plays a very key role, and we do not have to actually re-emphasize the importance of quality. We all know that quality is important. And most of the organizations have systems, processes in place. And we also have teams who are trained and qualified and who are actually given the responsibility to drive quality in their organizations. But besides that, in spite of that, as per this survey conducted by Forbes Insights, only 46% of the organizations indicate that quality values are consistently applied in their organization. So there is a stark difference, and we are actually, as per this survey, less than half of what we want to be. So those systems and processes are in place. In terms of actual application, it is far less than half, which is only 46%. Now, you may say that what are the, you may be curious to know what are the reasons why we fail at actually developing a culture of quality. When it comes to quality, we always talk about policing. We are more concerned that the quality team is responsible for it and they are the ones driving it. And we always depend upon external certification and audits to tell us whether we are quality compliant or not. But today, we are focusing something at a much deeper level where we want to make this more as a way of life. So let's look into the elements of quality which needs to be there in your organization in order to drive a quality culture. There are various, surveys which are in the organization and which comes up with various, ways in which we can develop a quality culture. These are like varied in number, and also that they are like varying in terms of concepts as well. But we have identified 4 core elements of a quality culture. So I'm going to discuss today with you these 4 elements of quality, 4 elements of, in the organization, which we should have in order to drive quality as a culture at your organization. So number 1 is leadership. This is the, core essence of an organization. We need to have a strong leadership who can actually show the commitment and also set the expectations across the organization, and who can actually engage all the employees towards a common quality belief. So the leaders play a very key role in defining the quality definition of your organization and on setting the expectations, plus also reinforcing it continuously. Without a strong leadership, we will never be able to maintain quality or sustain quality in the long run. And you will see that this important element is actually affecting all the elements which we'll be discussing going ahead. Number 2 is people. So having the right people is very important. So the people who have already imbibed values of quality in them, so selecting the right ones right from the hiring process, maybe selecting while you are hiring any new member in your organization, you may have certain quality related questions or check marks in your list where you are able to assess people based on their quality values and beliefs. Also, once you select the right people, it is also very important to onboard them to the organization's quality mission, vision, and values. So that is why people and recruitment plus retention of the quality staff is a very strong element of the quality culture. Going ahead, the next element is training and education. So once you have the people in place, continuous training and education is very important to drive home the importance of quality. As you know, when you talk about a culture of quality, we are talking about an environment where people constantly see others following quality procedures. They are living quality life, plus they are hearing about quality. So everybody in the organization is talking about quality. So this is the environment that we're talking about, which you want to reach eventually. And then there's also a feeling that quality is the pillar on which your organization runs through. So that is why continuous training and education is really important to reinforce the importance of quality. The last pillar that I want to emphasize here is on process and matrix. So this is something which is the foundation for any quality system. So once we have the quality systems, the matrix and the indicators in place, so we have to have them. And without that, we cannot, actually go ahead implementing it, right? So that has to be the base of any quality culture. And once we have the process and the matrix in place, we continuously, monitor the process. We continuously have track the progress of how we are doing. So this helps us to measure like where we were and where we want to be and where we are continuously traveling across the lines. So process and matrix plays a very key role. So these are the tools that will help the organization to actually, implement quality practices, plus also continuously monitor and track the progress. So these are the four strong pillars on which we believe will lay the foundation for a strong quality culture across any organization. So with that, I will take a pause. I have been speaking continuously, and I know it's a lot of information on quality. But with the knowledge that I had shared just recently, we want to take a quick poll, quick poll from all of you. So we want you to, answer this poll based on what I have shared. So let me just share the poll. I just launched the poll question. The question for you is, would you say that your iBank has a culture of quality? And the options are yes and no. So I would request all of you to, participate in this poll and answer this question.
It should be on your screens now.
Yeah, I hope, yeah, I can see responses. So I can see 3 of the responses so far out of 30. I really encourage others also to join us. There is no right or wrong answer in this, all right? So do not get worried about the option. Just feel free to hit in what you feel is currently your situation. It can be no, or it can be yes, there is no right answer to this.
And also, nobody gets to know who's saying what.
Yes.
All we get is the yes and no graph. That's all. So we'll only know how many said yes, no, how many said yes, and how many no. That's it. So feel free to do that. It gives us a better idea of where we think we stand.
Yes. And so far, only 3 of the participants have actually answered. So can we have some more responses? I think we'll give another minute in the interest of time. And once done, we can share the responses. All right, so should we end then? Time up? All right, so the responses are quite few, and I have just got 3 responses. And out of the 3, all believes that they have a culture of quality. So there is 100% agreement that the culture of quality exists in the organization, which is actually a very heartening news for us. And it actually makes our work very easy, So because you all are already aware of quality, I must say, if your response is correct. And in that case, I think we can definitely learn from each other and help each other in terms of developing a quality culture. So thank you for your response. And with that, okay, so I think we can proceed ahead with the next slides. So Catherine, over to you.
Yes. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Catherine, we can see your screen, and I hope everybody can see the screen. And over to Catherine for her to share the journey at Hong Kong iBank. So what has been her experience, her challenges, and also the lesson learned that she wants to share with us today. Over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Swapnali. Thanks, my friend. Thank you for your very great presentation about quality culture. My screen cannot move. What's the problem?
Yeah, just give me a moment, Katrina. I'm just checking.
Okay, okay.
Can you try now again?
Still can't move. Maybe I stop sharing first and then re-enter.
Yes, okay.
Should be okay now. Let me try.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
visible.
also, okay, yeah. Okay, before we go to the journey, I would like to give you some background information about our iBank. The Hospital Authority iBank is the only iBank in Hong Kong responsible for eye donor selection, eye tissue recovery, evaluation, storage, processing, as well as allocation and delivery. We are also conduct training for eye banking professional and conduct public education program on eye donation. We are working very hard in appealing for eye donation and at the same time committed to providing high quality corneas for transplantation and striving to benchmark with our standard with the international standard of eye banking. Throughout the years, we have made some major developments, and you can see in the journey here. And I would like to highlight some important ones. Starting from early 2012, we have been developing SOPs and training protocols to cover all aspects of eye banking. I'm sure you know how important of SOP to be the foundation of all our daily work. It is to ensure the acceptable level of quality in dealing with ocular tissue for transplantation. To facilitate future development of local eye banking, we moved to a new laboratory since October 2012. The upgraded facilities with higher infection control standards can allow safer tissue handling and processing. Our iBank also has collaborated with Sightline in quality certification since 2015. A 2-year quality certification was first granted in March 2016, and subsequently recertification was granted in 2018 and 2021. Since October 2016, all eye tissue are ISBT 128 coded. It is an international coding system to enhance tissue security and sharing of tissue information. We have also developed a web-based iBank management system to allow central registration and allocation of corneas to all patients who are on waiting list for corneal transplant. Honestly, it was not an easy role. We face many challenges and most of them are interrelated. Therefore, one will often affect the others. In the past, we only focus on the number of corneas we collect for transplant. What we concern is only the quantity. When we first come to realize that the quality assurance is an important part in eye banking, we had very little knowledge about it. The concept we had was very vague, and we do not know where to start and how to start. As we are the only iBank in Hong Kong, we could not gain any experience locally. There was not much experience that could be shared from our local skin bank and bone bank. Therefore, we start reaching out overseas. We have visited the iBank Association of America and Sightline head office at Seattle in 2013 and 14. Such opportunities provide us with the concept idea of quality assurance. In the following years, We provide opportunities for our staff with overseas trainings, include tissue banking management and master of organ and tissue donation. I'm sure you know behavior change is a complicated, very complicated, because it requires a person to change the current habit while at the same time fostering a new set of thinking and behavior. This process takes time, usually much longer than we expect. Take an example of our iBank when we are very small in size. We mainly rely on verbal communication in our work with little documentation. Because of the skills and knowledge, some staffs are very hesitant to use computerized system. We are not eager to report any incident or events. We just cover all the things. To improve the situation, we set visible and short-term goals first. We understand that the goals that near in time will get more energy to change than the goals that are set distant in time. We have to let our staff know to see, to observe, to gain the benefits of the change. For example, make the work more tidy, more easy, and save time. Allow time for them to adjust and give feedbacks. It's always to do it. Developing the quality system and further developing the quality culture always needs resources input. Physical resources such as equipment, space are more important for the functioning of iBank. We used to have very few equipment and only very small laboratory. We did not have any staff specialized in quality assurance. All of them requires money input or financial input. To have a good budget planning, it is important to differentiate the one-off cost and also in a recurrent expense. It will help us to achieve the objectives step by step. Most of the challenges that I mentioned before are related to the management commitment. Failure to communicate with the management will almost lead to lack of support. And without management support, you can imagine how difficult it is to develop quality program. Our iBank is not a separate organization, but we are one of the departments of under the hospital authority and under the management of Hong Kong Eye Hospital. We have to convince our boss, our management, why we need to make change. And so we can get additional resources. For most of the time, effect and outcome can only be seen after years or even longer. In the process, we are patient, we have to be patient and organized in giving details of our plan, cost and justification, setting a timeline for completing all activities. From time to time, this is very important to provide management with the updated status. We also emphasize that the money spent is not an expense, it's not waste, but investment, which will generate return in quality improvement. The most difficult challenge, I think, is engaging people, engaging staff. Staff said, I think many iBankers come across same situation that our staff will say, most of my time is already occupied in donor selection, donor screening, or tissue recovery, or tissue evaluation. We are already very busy and no spare time in quality improvement or quality program. In fact, many staff will have the thoughts that may think that it is your business, boss, not my business. I think it's a very common feedback from our staff. We first identify some potential staff to change. In the department, there should be some leaders or some follower. So we need to identify some right person to work first. Keeping all staff in the communication loop is very important to show our respect and also can drive a positive change or culture. We communicate with staff by official ways, for example, regular emails, newsletter, or monthly meetings. We are also make use of informal channel, for example, lunch break, tea break at pantry, or after work gathering together to know their ideas. To recognize our achievement over these years, our IBank was selected as the outstanding team of Hospital Authority in 2017. It is a very great award for our team, and it is we have to fight against because only one team will be selected every year, so the competition is very keen. This is an achievement that would not be possible without the hard work of all our team members. I have to emphasize that staff participation is always the core element in building quality culture of an organization. What we have learned in the journey: a well-prepared leader is critical, who directs and guides team members to a desirable outcome. A team working under an effective leader with quality leadership will always perform the best and set an example for others to change and to make improvement. Continuous professional training and development is essential. I'm not only saying training for the leader, but also for all staff. Needs, standards, and requirements are always changing, and therefore continuous upgrading the skills and knowledge is important to keep staff abreast of the latest development. To foster open and honest sharing and reporting. Mistake or deviation should not be blamed or punished. It should be treated as a learning opportunity for others. As Michael Tim said, the only thing people learn from being blamed is to become better at hiding their mistake. Always encourage your staff to report and share. Planning is essential to sustain to make sure that our quality program can be run in long term. The planning should include manpower and budget planning. The last one, but not the least, is always engage everyone of your team in the progress, both the top management and the frontline operation staff. We are all together and we are all on the same boat. Always welcome suggestions, comments, feedback, so on and so on, in every channel, in whatever channel they want. Quality culture influences everything and everyone. A well-developed culture creates positive change across our IBank. First of all, you will see the trend of cornea donation is going up. Although we are affected by COVID pandemic these few years, but you will see the trend is uptrend. It was less than 250 pieces in 2011 and reached nearly to about 370 in 2017. With the computerized system and proper documentation, we are able to track every aspect of eye donation, from donor screening to tissue utilization. In case of any event or incidents, the system helps us to promptly pick up the mistake and minimize the impact to our operation. And quality system and quality culture also builds up public trust and confidence, not only to IBank, not only to eye donation, but organ donation. People know how the donated tissue will be treated and allocated. It will give them confidence to donate, to make donation. Here you will see that with the public trust and confidence, the overall family consent rate raised from less than 40% in 2010 to nearly 55% in 2020. The most important thing in quality culture is communication. Always communicate with your staff, with your boss, with other stakeholders. As Don Grofsky said, successful management and leadership of the quality system involves an integrated approach that includes the communication network that extend both horizontally and vertically within your organization, as well as reach out to your customer, to other stakeholders, and to the public. This is the end of my sharing, and thank you for your listening. I would like to welcome any comments from the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for sharing your journey today in terms of building the culture of quality. It has been a very rich, knowledge sharing by you, and I hope everybody has benefited to some extent knowing the journey of Catherine and her team in building the culture of quality. So with that, we are open to questions and answers from the team. If you have any questions, you can also write to us in the chat option. We already have one question from one of the team members. I think Swapna has asked Catherine, this is for you. She wants to know how supportive is the government of Hong Kong in supporting iBanking as a public program. So that is
sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So the question is, how supportive is the government of Hong Kong in supporting iDonation as a public program? That's the question.
So it means how the public perception about iDonation, is that right?
How the government supports. Is the government supportive about iDonation as a public program in Hong Kong?
Okay, yeah, okay, got it. Thank you, dear. Actually, iDonation program and organ donation program has been developed in Hong Kong for over 50 years. So I have to say, at the beginning, the support is not very big because of the budget, because of the resources, and also because of the public perception. But over the years, with the government had put a lot of efforts in public education. We now have the study curriculum, which what I want to say is the organ donation and iDonation already included in the school curriculum. So many students, many young people know what is iDonation and organ donation. And the government has put many resources in educating the public, and also set up the central organ donation registry to encourage people to sign up for organ and iDonation. And it's very common for us to see in the media, for example, on the TV that the government appeal public to support organ and iDonation. I think in general, the government is supportive in eye and organ donation. And in the hospital, we gain support from our staff, because quite often we receive referral from our medical staff to make referral for us for the potential organ donor or eye donor. And in the facility, the web-based system, and also for the resources that which is quite sustainable for us to make improvement in our service. I think in general, we have good support both from the government and also from the public. And the public is quite accepted to donation, because you will see the consent rate is over 55%. We are practicing opt-in systems, which means that we have to obtain consent for donation. But even though under opt-in policy, that most of the family already know what is iDonation and organ donation. The point is that they may need to discuss with other family members if they agree or not. So in general, this topic is well known by the public. Thank you.
Catherine, can I put across the question? This is Ganesh from iBank Association of India. I want two things. One is, can you share the material that is part of the curriculum, which talks about eye donation and organ donation, because we are also trying with our government to make this as part of the school curriculum and further. So if we have something as a president, it will help us to impress the government to include it in the curriculum. It will be helpful for us.
Oh, so it means your question is you want me to share with you how we do the school curriculum. Is it correct? Okay.
Yes.
So actually, because we are mostly we are using Chinese, so I'm sure I have the Chinese, but I think we are developing the English one. So maybe I will check with you. I will check again if the English version has been ready or not. If yes, I'm glad to share with you.
Yeah, that's great. One more thing is this quality in an organization, it should be an attitude. I think that needs to be impressed upon the people who are
I'm
part of
sorry
the
because of
academy.
some background noises. Can you speak louder?
Can somebody
what I
please mute who's talking so that we can have a conversation? I think somebody was speaking.
Request everybody to be on mute, but I'll also mute once which is visible. Thank you. Yes,
Shall I continue?
Yes, can you please continue your question, please?
Catherine, my observation is the quality in an organization should be an attitude. It should be an ownership of the people involved, because unless you are happy about what you are doing, happy about the results, happy about the performance, you will not put in 100% of your effort in every process that you are doing. I think that should be the beginning point. This is an observation. You may please add something for the benefit of the participants.
Swaplani dear, can you help me to, because I'm not really clearly get the question.
Yeah, I can help clarifying that. So I think the question,
degree certificate
sorry, people are requested to be on mute.
Is there somebody is talking?
Please be on mute when you're not talking. Swapnali, please mute everybody and then you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, just give me a moment.
मी आलं की फोन करेल कॉलेजला ते जर असतील अवेलेबल ना.
Yeah, I think I have muted now. Yeah, I think it's fine now. All right. So just to continue, I think the question which I understood from Ganesh is, Ganesh basically wants to know that since culture is more of a behavioral attitude, and it is more on how it's more of a behavioral aspect, because if people believe in quality, then only they will follow it. So since it's a behavioral aspect, Catherine, he wants you to emphasize from your experience how this behavior can be reinforced and how we can develop this behavior to build a culture of quality. Am I correct, Ganesh? Is this what your question?
Perfect. Spot on.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be a long story actually. What I want to say is that first of all, we need to have a very strong leader. I'm glad to have a very strong medical director together with me to start the program. And also both of us are quite aligned in our direction. What I mean is that we are quite the same in knowing what we want to achieve. So I think for the team, without for the first hand, without any knowledge about quality or quality culture or system, it is basically rely very much on the leaders to lead the program first. And then once we start, and some teammates may get some knowledge, and we may start to delegate them to do some projects. I think it's a way to empower them, to give them authority to try something new. So it is our experience. And once other people see some colleagues performing good, they will build up their confidence to try. And from time to time, I think communication, I mean individual communication with individual staff is very important, because you may hear what they want to express, because in front of others, they may not be willing to say, or they will not be willing to reject your decision. So what I think is that we need to have the good relationship with individual staff, and the leader have to know clearly what the capacity, what the skills, what the characteristic of individual staff, to assign them or allocate job for them, so that to give them a way to produce some achievement. It is what the experience that I want to share. I'm not sure if I answer your question, but because it's quite long story, so if you have further question, I welcome you to email me or further contact me later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And just to add on to what Catherine mentioned about behavioral aspects and changes, because that's the key to drive a quality culture. We all know, we have been discussing that unless the behavior changes, it is very difficult to make quality sustainable in any organization. So what I understand and what I can recommend is also assessing the gaps. If you think that behavior is the gap, so first assessing the gaps in terms of behavior, which can be behavior because you don't have the right people. So that can be also one of the reasons. Or maybe you have the right people, but they are not well motivated. Or is it the reason because the leadership is not strong in your organization? So those are the areas that you can look into. But what is important is, as Catherine mentioned, a strong leader who drives home the importance of quality. That's the key. That's the foundation. Because from there, it percolates to the entire team. But we must know that quality actually culture engages each and every one. So everybody has to be accountable. And you can start with assessing the gaps in capabilities, in mindset, in behavior. So once you identify that, I think you can work on finding the solution.
Thank you, Dia. I saw a question in the chat about the barcoding system from.
Yes, we have a question. Yes, Sarvanan has a question on the barcoding system. So he wants to know how you have done that in your iBank.
Okay, so we used to use the manual coding. What's mean by manual is that you just write the number on a label and stick it to the tissue container. But the point is that there will be a human error because it's handwriting. So when we start thinking of build up the web-based system, we realized that there is the international coding system. International coding system is ISBT 128. It is an international coding system for human tissue organs and human products. So if you search ISBT 128 on the web, you will see that it is it's the US-based organization. I forgot the full name of their company, but its short name is ICCBPA. ICCBPA is the company owned this coding system. So actually, we just contact them over online, and then they have a list of already have built up the list of coding for different products. For example, cornea, sclera, blood, something like that. And in Hong Kong, not only iBank, we are not the first one to use this coding system. Our blood bank is the first one. So that's why we collect some information from blood bank first, and then we contact the ICCPBA company. And then they will collect some basic information of our iBank, for example, the number of tissue collected every year, and the software, the hardware that we need, for example. Then it is a very user-friendly holding system. For every time we have the new donor, the system will generate a new number, the new donor number for us. So we do not need to manually write it on our record. So if you want to have more information, I may share with you after after today. And it is I would recommend Tissue Bank or iBank to use this, because you can make sure that the tissue security and the identification, and also we can speak the same language with other tissue bank or iBank. Thank you. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Catherine.
No, welcome. Is there any comments or feedbacks from the floor?
Kuldeep ka hai? Kuldeep ka hai?
Hi.
Can you please mute? Thank you. Catherine, I have one question.
Okay, please.
Yeah, so there are a lot of points that really resonate with what you have done and with the work that SiteLab has been trying to do as well, and I'm sure EBI as well. So out of the challenges that you have mentioned, there are quite a few, and it's really heartening to see your journey, to see that, you know, all those challenges are actually, you can, you know, get past them. It's possible, because we have seen how good your quality program is. Out of all those challenges, which one do you think was the biggest of them all? And you know, I mean, what exactly worked over there? You can give one in more detail.
I'm sorry, but I can't hear clearly. Would Swapnali please help me?
Yes, I would just like to again reiterate the question. So I think Anurag's question is here, like you mentioned about the challenges very elaborately, and you also showed us how those challenges can be overcome, because you have crossed those hurdles. So what Anurag wants to know is, out of all these challenges, which one do you think is the most critical one? Is that correct, Anurag? Is that what you want to know?
Yes, I mean the hardest one.
The hardest challenge that you encountered.
So you want to know which one is the most difficult one that to handle? Is that right?
That's correct.
I think it's engaging people. I think it's engaging team members, because from time to time you have some staff turnover. So for this time, you have already engaged all team members to participate. But later on, when you have some staff turnover, some new staff join and some leave, then you have to engage again. And so that's why now when we recruit new team members, we will first of all, in the very beginning, we will ask what their concept, what their perception about iBank or iDonation. It should not only about recruiting corneas or iTissue. It should be more than this. So in order to make sure to have some certainty about that, the new staff can play with our team culture or team with our teammates, we will take more time for her or for him to know more about iBank first, For example, we'll take them to visit our iBank to know what we are actually doing. So, and also we have already made some video which can show them during the interview to let him or her know more about our core mission of our iBank. So I think engaging people is not easy, and also retain staff with high caliber is not easy, because talent staff have many opportunities. So we always hope to give, because we can't increase, because we are under government subsidy, so we could not able to increase the salary by our own decision, but we need to follow a government decision. So what we do is the whole package, that to provide a good environment, working environment for them, to try to match their characteristic caliber with the job expectation, job requirement. So is the way that we are doing to engage people, to make sure we are all in the same level, same pace, and same boat. Yes, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Catherine.
Welcome.
Swapnali, back to you.
All right, so I think those were really interesting points for us to take home. And if we do not have any further questions, we are, I think, on time, and we can conclude this discussion. However, if you do have any questions, or any questions come up to you post this session, feel free to reach out to us, to Anurag, to me, and we can definitely direct you to Catherine as well if there are any questions for Catherine to address. So feel free to reach out to us, and we would really appreciate your continuous engagement and interest in this session. And I hope with today's session, you could at least identify small steps which you want to take, which can create a shift in the culture of your organization. So, I mean, any small step is important. So if you are able to identify at least one small step, one small change, which will help you shift the gears at your organization, I would say then this discussion will be fruitful. So with that, I would like to thank you once again for your active listening and participation. And also thank you, Catherine, for the knowledge that you shared with us, for continuously working with us to align this presentation, this training session as per our needs, and also for the needs of the participants. So thank you once again from all of us for willing to participate in this session, and for sharing this immense knowledge and experience with us today. With that, I think I have nothing to add on, but I will pass this on to Anurag for his words. And also, I would like to mention that this learning series, as you know, this is the second one today. And we do have a couple of, like many others, interesting sessions, learning sessions. The next one is again on the quality program, which is on building internal audits. So we are going to have that in the month of May, most likely on a Friday, when people are relatively free and are willing to participate, are able to participate. So we will share the topic, the date, and the timing with you shortly, and we'll look forward to having you in those sessions as well. So thank you once again. Over to Anurag.
Thanks, Swapnali. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for being such patient listeners. It's because of you that these sessions have a meaning. And again, from our side, a big thanks to Ganesh, Rakhi, Dr. Namrata, and everybody at TBAI for helping us make this possible. And finally, the biggest thanks is reserved for Catherine. So Catherine, thanks a lot for sharing your experience, your journey of 20 odd years of being able to do that in an iBank. Being the only one in the country is no mean feat, and I'm sure a lot of us are amazed to learn of your journey, and probably will continue to be in touch with you to ask more about how you actually turned it around. So thanks a lot for doing that. We will look forward to actually hearing more about your experiences in the future. There's so much to learn, of course. There's so much we can learn from each other. So thanks a lot for that. So with that, friends, thanks a lot for joining. We are going to meet you in the next session, like Swapnali mentioned. Feel free to join as we send you the invite. Do ask your friends to join as well. Feel free to actually forward the invitation as it comes to you. And this will not end. We are going to continue having these sessions. There is actually a whole list of sessions we have planned. So look forward to seeing you there in the next one. And until that time, good luck and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you,
Thank
Swapnali.
you. My
Thanks a lot.
pleasure to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.